All right, I think we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Trying to go live.
All right.
We're here, you're there.
That's all that
Okay,
matters.
let's set this up so you guys are in the shot, because you guys can do the bulk of the talking here.
Fair enough.
Hopefully the phone doesn't fall out.
Jedi mind trick it to stay still.
Ooh, let's stay there.
Horrible gas station guy.
All right, so you guys introduce yourself. If it looks like it's squirrely, I'm just gonna watch it here.
Right on.
All right, this is the live we're talking about. These are two of the crazy guys from local here. They run a podcast here, and let them talk all about it. And we'll go from there, and they'll can tell us about some of the locations here that we're gonna come back and hit, since, as you can see, the whole issue about doing the UFO thing, we can't see really now, but it's foggy out there. We can barely see the waves, let alone see any crazy
Nasty
activity.
out
You guys
there.
framed up okay?
Oh yeah, we
Still
look
a little
great.
nasty.
There you go. Let me see if I can actually see on here.
I'm looking good.
Great for a horror
Introduce
film,
yourselves.
though, you know?
All right, my name's Raphael. I'm a guy.
He's a guy. I'm Andre Wright, and both of us used to be part of Punk Rock Explorers podcast, where we talked about the paranormal, occult, all kinds of stuff. And we drank a lot.
Drank
Had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun just trudging around local haunted spots, places of history, and then
Lots
one
of cemeteries.
one big hurrah up in Asheville.
Yes, we
Fantastic.
had a good one up there with Helen's Bridge and Riverside Cemetery. That was a nice good one right there. Where
God bless
This
you,
is
my
wimpy
child.
beer,
Oh,
but it's
God,
beer.
we got
Listen,
wimpy beer
Coors
now.
Light is the silver bullet, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm
It
telling you.
won't fill you up, and it never lets you down.
I don't drink much, but this
I don't even know
I'm
if that's
gonna
a,
drink.
still
I'm
a
gonna
thing
drink
they
just
say
because I'm
about
on
it.
camera.
I don't say no to free beer.
I'm gonna drink because I'm on camera.
I'm gonna drink because I'm a raging alcoholic.
Let's do a little cheers to everybody.
We'll get you some
Cheers
shots of
To
mustard
Steve.
later.
to Steve.
Shots of mustard.
Steve the man.
Fellow Long Island boy, very proud and honored to be here on his show.
Absolutely.
Talking to whoever's watching this right now. You
Absolutely.
guys.
Yeah, they'll slowly come in. I think Julie was on. Julie, you there? Yep, I knew she'd be there.
How you doing, Julie?
Hey Julie, how you
We
doing?
got a little late start, but people are gonna be popping in.
Right on.
They're gonna watch it after it uploads.
Yeah, honestly, the live streams I do on my channel, I'll
I'm
get
surrounded by Long Island kids right now. It's like, you know,
Okay.
I'm a mid-Atlanticer.
I'll get a few hundred in and out during a live stream. Usually, I do like 3 a week.
You guys want to
Oh hey, Koozie, Murica.
Sorry.
Merca.
You can have the green one.
Excellent.
And then like after the fact, I get a whole lot more. So, and especially when it comes to monetizing on YouTube with live streams, I actually have more success there than I do on like regular.
Yep.
Because I do book reviews too, and
Okay, yeah.
That's Orthodox Review.
yeah, that's right. The most uneducated education program on the internet.
Great tagline, by the way. I love
Thank
that.
you, thank you.
That's a good
It's
review.
excellent. And I guess
Hey, listen. Yeah, you know, Christians drink.
Boy, they do.
You've never been to an Orthodox church. Let me tell you something. Coffee hour is like, you
One
know.
of the things I did for the
Yeah,
Daily
there you go.
News, I did this piece. I get stuck doing on weekends. We down the aisle. It was a religious wedding piece, and that was Faith in Our Town was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to go to either a church or a synagogue or something and interview them and get pictures of the flock. It was a basic, real easy story. It wasn't like we're trying to get them anything. I had more Catholic priests try to have me have a drink with them after
Oh, yeah.
the fact. I mean, these guys are drinkers. I mean, they were funny.
And golfers too.
Yeah.
No, I get a friend, one of my YouTube friends, who goes to a Serbian Orthodox church somewhere out in Idaho, I think, or Ohio, one of those I states. And he's constantly complaining to me. He's like, coffee hour, I was so hungover. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, these Serbians, they just pour shots down your throat. I'm like, God. So, yeah,
Man, I can only imagine that one.
technically it's biblical. There's a line in the Psalms where oil to make man's face shine and wine to gladden man's heart. So it's,
Ouch.
Jesus drank.
There you go.
Wine's a big deal.
Well, cheers to that then.
So tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Let's promote your podcast first, then we'll go on. to
sure,
the
that's
history.
fine. Originally, like I said, we were Punk Rock Explorers podcast, which is still up and running. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, Spreaker or Breaker, whatever it's called. A couple of other different platforms, yeah, whatever you said. And so you guys can still hear some of the old ones. First season was Raphael and I. The second season was another Long Islander because I keep getting stuck with you guys.
Because we're the best.
Which was good old Strong Island Bob.
This
And
is your thing, right?
that's my current right here. This is yeah.
LackBrain Apparel,
That-
skatewear, baby.
LackBrain Skate Apparel is my current business right there. We do have a YouTube, we got a TikTok,
Helps
we
if I
got
put it in the right spot.
Instagram, we got Facebook, we got Twitter. You know,
Put a XP camera on here.
Well,
but
the camera's over towards me, so.
yeah,
There we
There
go.
Eyes on it.
I should be
He's got
looking
it
at the
now.
phone instead of looking at the
There you
delay
go.
on the monitor.
Check it out. That's the .com in the bottom corner right there. It's lkbrnempire.com. But alongside with that, I decided to start a new podcast, which was called Thread and Ply Podcast. Thread and Ply, obviously, since I'm in the skateboard / clothing field now. But I wanted to talk, have conversations with small business owners and, freshman entrepreneurs as well as experienced entrepreneurs. And at the same time, just have a raw good time, just have a couple beers and shoot the crap about everything and just also just keep a positivity amongst each other because a lot of people don't know that running a business, and you know this very well, even you know this with your setup on the YouTube, is that starting small it can be rough. You don't know which direction to go, and you just try to be as natural as possible. And but sometimes your emotions get in the way, and you try to figure out how to compartmentalize it all. So that's pretty much what that's going to be about, and hopefully I'll have a nice lineup. I'll be talking to skateboarders. I'll be talking to musicians. I'll be talking to business owners, excuse me. And this guy over here, Mr. Steve right here, Barcelo, was one of the ones who said he'd like to do that with me. So hopefully I'll make it up to Wellington and be able to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now your clothing line, that's primarily spandex, right?
No, I was
Thongs, come on.
I was
man.
going for thongs. Yeah, you see, he got me a little bit correct. It's mainly thongs for skateboarders.
It's mainly
it's
leather with
fantastic.
a lot of silver buckles.
Lots of buckles.
If you like rashes.
If you like assless chaps and skateboards, you're gonna love LackBrain Apparel.
Absolutely.
What is your clothing line?
All right, so it's LackBrain Skate Apparel, and it actually started off originally when I was 16 years old as a print zine, and I used to make these zines, just photocopy them, and then go over to Tower Records and shove them in other skate magazines, and I'd shove my stickers in there and everything, just so people it would distribute. And it got to the point where I had some bigger skaters, like well-known skaters back in the '90s, who started contacting me,
Cool.
and so I started getting them in the zine and everything. Then it turned to web zine, and then I fiddled out and did a bunch of other different businesses up until now. I mean, I had another skate company even. I had another skate company for a total of about 10 years,
Well,
minus a 4-year hiatus. Yeah, so it would have
Very
been about 14 years now.
so you still skate?
Yeah, I'm not as much as I want to. It's like I think I really need to. I'm doing this right now, and it's hurting me. Let's put it that way.
He's being modest. The guy actually gave his last skateboard away
I
to
did.
someone in need
I did.
recently. So.
And that person ended up being one of our team riders, surprisingly enough. So yeah, he unfortunately he's a younger kid. He got himself drunk and left his board over at the skate park. Came back the next day. It was obviously gone.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the hood. It's gonna happen. And so I was like, well, you know what? I got a board. Just here, take it, use it, whatever. So either way, I wanted to kind of re-up anyway and get one of my own boards put on my setup or whatever. But I want to cross over now to Raffy, man. You got where you want to talk about it? So come on, man. There's got to be something you want to talk
promote
about.
your YouTube.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. So Orthodox Review started off as an outlet for my book collecting. I collect liturgical texts, prayer books, service books, that sort of thing. Just being the religious boy of the 21st century that I am, and so it was a way for me to just kind of nerd out about the collection online, and then it just kind of took off on its own, and so now I'm dealing directly with publishers, and which is kind of weird because most publishers for the type of stuff I do are like monasteries, which is kind of cool. But outside of that, I started doing live streaming with it doing something called Books and Brews, where we just get drunk and talk about stuff.
Mhm.
Kind of like what we're doing here. And it's kind of turned into this community for people that are actually kind of looking into the Orthodox faith and trying to make a connection with people that are not boomers. So there's a lot of memeing. There's because I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm 42, and the bulk of my audience is like 25 to 30.
Yeah.
With a lot of that 18 to 25 in there. So it's become more of an outreach project than anything else. But the cool thing is it supports my collecting habits, because in addition to collecting liturgical texts, rosaries, prayer ropes, icons, that sort of thing, since I was knee-high to my father's kilt, I've loved the paranormal.
Mhm.
And so I started studying it when I was a little kid. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster when I grew up. I was like, I'll either be a Ghostbuster or a priest.
Didn't we all, man? Didn't we all?
I've gotten close to both. So being a collector of spiritual texts, like the Demonology of King James and Malleus Maleficarum, it all started with those, and then just it kind of took off. So those are the books that I collected. I don't tell a whole lot of people about, because I don't want
Definitely
them
cool,
screaming
yeah.
that I'm a heretic or something. But then and having known Andre now for 11 years.
Yeah.
When he came to me with the whole punk rock explorer thing, I was like, do I want to talk about ghosts? Yes, of course I want to talk about ghosts. Primarily because we have very contrasting ideas of what exactly they are.
Yeah.
I have my own personal experiences with the paranormal, obviously,
Yeah, as do
to draw
I.
on. It's just that from a spiritual standpoint, we both come from very different points of view, where he is
Right.
more of a
Agnostic.
yeah, whereas,
Slash spiritual.
I kind of look at I look at things through the lens of my faith, and so it just made for great conversation. It was something we could just connect on and go have fun with.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and I just the only reason I kind of disbanded what we were doing was
We just got busy.
we
were so busy.
He was busy with his own stuff. I was busy with my own stuff, and then it just came down together.
It gets to that point where also you have to start paying bills. And,
Yeah.
it gets-
Yeah, exactly.
Someone's asking on here, we have a little chat going.
Sure.
Somebody's asking, what about the UFOs? We're getting there. We're just kind of doing an introduction
Yeah,
now.
we'll talk some.
We're all a bunch of older guys here, so we've got... now, you have a UFO past.
I do.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I've had a couple of experiences with the UFO thing. The earliest one, I lived in Wisconsin for several years, finished up high school out there and everything. And where I was living, you could see the northern lights occasionally, which is nothing uncommon. So I'm out walking the dog one night, dead of winter, and I swear to you, no joke, like this pillar of light, like starting like yellow in the center and spreading out red. I'm sitting there with the dog, and the dog's like, what the hell? And I'm like, what the hell? And probably one of the most frightening experiences of my life, because it was probably about the time that, what was that movie, Fire in the Sky came out.
Fire in the Sky.
Maybe a year or two before or after that. And so that's what it reminded me of. I was like, holy crap, this crap is. And so after it disappeared, I was looking for movement in the sky, because it was a nice clear night, no clouds or nothing. I knew it wasn't the northern lights, because obviously the northern lights have a very distinctive pattern to it, and it's usually not a pillar. It's from where we were in Wisconsin, it's usually like a sheet across the horizon, where you don't see too much of the waving, but you see the glow, and it's usually like green or red. So there was that, and then on another occasion, out in the woods again, Wisconsin, Minnesota, there was dark shapes, and usually you don't think too much about that sort of thing. Maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you, whatnot. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was working security at an insurance firm, and late at night, we'd listen to Coast with Art Bell, mm-hmm. And so they were talking about like these shadow figures, and the people describing them, I'm like, that's exactly what I freaking saw. So I got to be on Art Bell for like 5 minutes and talk about that. But it always kind of took me back, because when you start to think about like, okay, these things are out there, and you're just imagining the expanse of all this stuff, and mm-hmm. It can be kind of anxiety inducing. And of course now I have you know, certain ideas of what maybe these things were, like, but even back then I was like, well, I'm definitely not the biggest thing in this universe. So,
No, it's
cool
reality
stuff.
check.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, in the last couple of years too, the government's come out and said like, oh, by the way, UFOs are real.
Yeah.
And it's kind of skipped
Yeah.
along with all the craziness
Yeah,
of COVID.
no one's
and
paying
crazy-
attention to it at all.
The world's upside down. Everyone's worried about like, you know, can I get my hair done? And, you know, instead of, you know, there's other things. But
When can I go get drunk again?
I'm gonna get the coof.
Oh, here, this is how you get
I
drunk.
gotta get a
You
tan.
buy it at the damn gas station, you go home and you drink.
Yeah. I tell you, it's not to change subject, but it's changed things. I mean, even like us
Yeah.
doing the YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
people now can watch us. I mean, I'm going out there, we're doing this safely or mediocrely safely today, but the beer will kill anything.
Yeah, alcohol sanitizes folks, or
And I've got
as
spray alcohol, which is 190 proof. It's actually from Bruce's Brewery.
He's gonna spray us down before we
I'm
leave.
gonna
boiling water kills dreams.
put him in the shower. We'll scrub him down with Barcelo.
It's called Long Island Sanitation.
This is kakalaki delousing.
Yeah.
So we wanted to hit on a couple of things here, but I want to talk, of course, about UFO. One of the things I came here, and I'm behind the cameras. Some of you guys know me, but I'll just stick my head in here so you know. It's me. It's me. I'm here, and I'm always in front of the camera. So basically, I came down here, but the plan was to get this motel room. I'm up on the 5th floor and look for some of these suspicious lights that people have seen up over the ocean. Well, it's been overcast, and this has gotten worse to the point where now we can't even see the waves off the thing.
It's like a horror movie out there.
Yeah,
It's like
the fog looks like nothing compared
Like
to that.
seriously, like a sector of Cape Fear.
It's kind of crazy. So that's out the window. So I'm you know, thank God I got these guys. At least I can get some interviews going. And I did do 2 live paranormal investigations. There's supposed to be a death in this room. It's supposed to be a tragic death. We're not sure exactly what. We get these things sent to us all the time. We're not sure if someone fell off the balcony, which someone said. What I'm hearing more, it was likely someone was an accidental death in the room. So we got some pretty interesting stuff last night. I'll let you watch those videos.
Cool.
You know, we're not going to go there tonight. I don't want to rehash things. But you guys both live in the area, so you guys
Yeah.
can give us some of the information on stuff that I don't know about,
Sure.
on paranormal and UFO, and just some of the history.
Yeah.
I mean, you were mentioning some of the stuff. I went down to
Sure.
the fort today,
Fort Fisher.
Fort
Fort
Fisher.
Fisher,
I was
yeah.
going to say Mifflin. I'm going to get the wrong one. Fort Fisher, and I used my fancy little gimbal. And like an idiot, the first time I used it, I'm walking around talking to it, and I didn't turn it on. It was operating, had a little
Whoops.
screen going, the head was moving, but it wasn't recording. So I was walking around for about 25 minutes like a moron talking to myself.
I do that every day.
This is supposed to be, I guess, one of I think, well, Fort Fisher was obviously a Civil War fort, for
Right.
those of you that are familiar. And it's supposed to be where a lot of the, what were they called? They were kind of like the submarine style boats back in the
Yeah.
1800s. They were, I forgot, they have a specific name. But like one of the last ones that ever made it down this way and got like blasted by the Confederacy.
Yeah, it was a
okay.
it was a blockade runner.
Yeah,
that
blockade
got-
runner, yeah, exactly. So it got blasted out, and I think that was one of the last ones that they had.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's part of the history right there, obviously.
I
But
mean, anywhere you have a massive amount of death.
yeah, Fort Fisher's got a history to it though, because there's bunkers there that were there from the Civil War, but also from World War II. I mean, they were used for both pretty much.
Because people keep forgetting that,
Same.
like, you know, German U-boats were on the coast. Like,
Oh,
there
yeah.
was a war here on the home front that no one really ever heard about.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people didn't know that. Well, there used to be a tower there at one point, and I think that one was blasted down or something, or they took it down, or I'm not sure what happened.
There's a fellow on Long Island, you know, friend of the story, we actually had a U-boat stop off Long Island, let
Yep.
guys out, and they were infiltrating, I can't remember exactly they were trying, I think they were trying to take the lighthouses out or something
Yeah,
like that.
they were somewhere out near Smith's Point, right?
Right, and they had actually been captured by locals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess the German accent gave them.
Topsail still has some of the towers.
Well, pardon the expression and foul language, everyone, but, you know, don't fuck with New York.
Well, those locals out there.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones that, you can remember Fire Island was named after them starting fires and these ships would wreck and they go out there and kill the people on the ships and basically they claim all the goods and this is
Yeah.
how those people got their wealth out there.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
it's-
for those of you the uninitiated, Long Island, in addition to being a great potato farming community, started off as whaling communities.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that whale blubber was liquid gold back in the day. So
Sure.
anyone that was out on the sea then, unless you were like, you know, a small time fisherman, you were hauling whale blubber, and that, yeah. I I mean, people like to talk about Pirates of the Cape Fear
Now it's
River.
on
It's
our
like,
tires.
this was like a holiday spot for pirates, okay? The real deal was up north,
Yeah.
where people were straight up just sabotaging and murdering each other for this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Cutthroat.
This region is another. Speaking of pirates, Blackbeard's segment was between here and New Bern, pretty
Yeah.
much for the most part. He was one of the only ships that was able to make it through the coral reef. And so, I mean, he pretty much inhabited most of this area right here. I mean, there's been people downtown that have literally said, sometimes at 3 a.m. they'll get off of work from working a bar, they'll walk upstairs from the bar, whatever, get on the main road, and then it'll be nice and foggy out, and they see like the silhouette of a man that looks like a pirate, pretty
that's
much
cool.
downtown.
Tonight's the night. I
Yeah,
tell you.
right.
Yeah.
Tonight's perfect night, man. And that's one of the things. But I mean, there was a lot of escape tunnels underneath stuff downtown. Speaking about downtown, we got a lot of escape tunnels down there. Some
A lot of them are
some
still there.
in Orton's, which is the oldest pool hall. There's a few down in that region right there that went right down to the water. I think they went out towards somewhere else by the Cape Fear River, but it was
pretty much where the Riverwalk
yeah,
is now.
pretty much where the
roughly.
Riverwalk is. And I mean, there's just, I mean, that place right there, Orton's, which like is the oldest pool hall in the country. Right above it was the hotel. What was it called? The hotel? Was it Orton Hotel as well?
I believe so.
Maybe it was Orton Hotel. That one burned down, so a bunch of people died in that thing.
Yeah. What's really cool is like when you look at pictures of Wilmington from like the 17 and 1800s, and you see pictures of it, and it's like it looks like one of those old-timey whorehouses.
Yeah, it really does. It does. It really does look like one. And it's crazy because there's a story. I used to work at the pool hall, and there was a story that's been pretty much going around that there's a gentleman named William that still inhabits the area. And me personally, I've actually had experience with that. You know, every night before we closed up, we would ring the bell and give him, you know, a shout out to William and be like, William, you know, here's a shout out to you. We love you, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd take off. Well, one night we were just kind of sitting there still cleaning up. We hadn't even gotten to the bell ring for the night. And all the lights kind of started flickering. And I literally screamed, I'm like, William, if that's you, flicker it twice. He flicked it twice right there and then. And he was just like, you didn't feel estranged around that entity. It just felt like it was comforting, like it was looking after us. It didn't feel harmful, you know, and that's the important thing. There was nothing cynical about it.
Yes.
It's good.
UFO stuff.
Back to UFO
Back
stuff.
to
yes.
UFOs.
Let me bridge the gap between the paranormal and UFOs for you.
There
Have
we
you ever
go.
heard of the Seneca guns?
Me, no.
Okay, so the Seneca guns, and this is very prominent along the beach communities from here through Brunswick County, is a term used for a loud booming sound that can be heard off the coast. Now, I've been listening to this all my life. My grandfather lived out in Sunset Harbor out there in Brunswick County, and I remember as a child the first time I heard it. I mean, it's like it sounds like an actual. It's like a cannon going off, and like there's a little vibration and everything. I asked my grandfather. I was like, "Oh, what is that?" He's like, "Ah, it's just the Seneca guns." And I was like, "Oh, what makes this sound?" And he was like, "I don't know, pieces falling off the continental shelf or something." So I didn't give it a second thought. So as an adult coming back to it, and I actually spent some time living in there, and I got to talking to the locals about it, because it was just like an accepted bit of life there. And you know, so there's no sonic booms, there's no major waves, there's no testing facilities anywhere nearby. But on a regular basis, so sometimes you can hear them here too, but just out of the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
you will just hear this, and like it'll rattle things, like a massive explosion. But you know, of course, you know, local authorities over the course of decades have, you know, they just whatever, it is what it is.
Different excuse.
Yeah,
And that was usually sonic booms, but these go back before the jets were breaking.
yeah, exactly.
Or
You know,
they're trying to say it's military based or something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
like
you know?
there's, you know,
I mean-
as we all know, you can't go supersonic anywhere near the coastline because of the damage a sonic boom can do.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
And the one thing, you know, and of course in my later years here, trying to do research on it, is like no one's really looking into it too heavily. So if anyone out there is interested in researching the Seneca guns, Sunset Harbor is the place.
Check it out for
There's
sure.
a lot of old timers there that know a whole lot. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, is it alien activity? Is it a ghostly activity? Is there a scientific explanation for it? Like it's, some sort of something happening in the ocean. And even then, if it's something happening in the ocean, what the hell is it? So there's your look into that tonight.
I just want to give a shout out. Harold, I hear you, see you talking. Harold's another fellow Long Island. He's talking about his history back in Hempstead, Long Island. Talking about his great-great-grandfather's Richard Denton and Lieutenant John Rock Smith, going back to 1640s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so just the history. People forget Long Island. You got like you're saying the whaling communities, Sag Harbor, places like that.
Yeah.
They go back to the 1600s. It's comfortable there. I mean, the stuff going on, the Gardner families and things like that. Gardner's Island, all the craziness. But thanks for throwing that out.
Yeah, thanks,
Let's
Harold.
see.
Always
Yeah, the
love to
Dutch
hear
colony,
from
that's right. He's
Yep.
talking about the Dutch, how the Dutch goes back. That's on my mother's side, too. She's goes back on Dutch. We're such mutts these days.
It's
I know a lot of you guys are asking, like, why are we bouncing all over the place? Because we're well-rounded. We basically haven't sat down and talked to each other. Actually, I've never met you before.
That's true.
we're all ADD.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it.
After a couple of beers, we'll calm down.
Exactly.
And,
We'll come down soon.
But basically, we're just trying to playing catch up here. And believe it or not, we're kind of filling in because I can't do a UFO investigation. So we're
Sure,
doing a
yeah.
chat.
Which is a shame because you see some really great lights.
I know.
Over
And this
really
is the perfect spot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you guys can't see it now, and I have no way of showing you the outside since it's dark.
I've Ubered a couple of people that have given me insight on CB and even some up in Wrightsville. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well,
But, yeah.
what's cool here is when we're kind of at an advantage here on the coast, where you have the light pollution from the city versus nothing's going on. out
Nothing
that
at
way.
all. Yeah, exactly.
So when being in the middle of it, if there is a major light disturbance, let's call it,
Right.
it's definitive. Like it's either an airplane, which you can see clearly with the flashing lights, or it's not.
Yeah.
So especially being on the beach and having that contrast there, I'm not saying we're a hot spot or anything for light activity, but it's a lot easier to recognize
Right.
where we are.
No, and I was told that the common light things they'll see out here, they'll see movement that looks erratic, and then enough to get your attention, and then you'll see this kind of like very sharp turns, and then at the blink of an eye, this thing's off like a shot.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's a plane or something moving, how's it moving at, like, literally, subsonic speeds. And this is the kind of stuff I'd love to see if we can catch. So
Yeah.
coming back here and just set up surveillance 24
Absolutely.
hours off here and see what we can pick up. But
And especially with the off season, because once the tourists show up, it's
Right.
like you don't know what the hell's up there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But
we've still got time. Hopefully,
Plus,
we'll
there's
get
more
back.
hustle and bustle down below, so there's more lighting coming in. And,
Yeah.
things
Still,
are
this
more
is dark.
open.
I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
I mean,
that's-
blankest
so
pitch, you
that's
can't
still
see it.
dark, yeah.
Can't
this is
see.
the perfect way to go. I
Yeah.
think this hotel might be the one to hit again, even if we get farther up. Another floor above.
Sure. Yeah, and I tell you what, I mean, it's any one of these coastline hotels. I mean, are great for telescoping.
Oh yeah.
So there's that.
Except for this one with the trip hazard by the sliding door.
Well, I mean, we've got to create more dead people somehow.
Literally, the sliding door is like about 6 inches, 7 inches up. You literally, I walked out last night when it was dark. I was doing a paranormal thing to show you guys how you can't see anything outside, and I damn near went over the freaking railing.
And now that I'm looking at it, there is a downward grade.
There is a downward.
It's
there is
crazy.
a
So either the
You can
windows.
hear the outside wind.
Yeah.
But that's a big step. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, that's above the ankle. That's.
I mean, that's.
This
that's
is your
like
zen for the day, ladies and gentlemen. The sound of the ocean.
Enjoy the cool.
And I love
Enjoy
the,
the pool.
the do not feed the seagulls from the balcony stuff. I
I love that.
got a picture of that. That's something I haven't seen.
All you need
before.
now is a 15-year-old with a bag of Alka-Seltzer pellets.
Yeah, right.
Let's see who else is on here now.
Hey, those seagulls will eat just about anything.
Yeah, they will.
It's ridiculous.
Rats of
They
this.
do not
People-
judge.
People are talking about Squatch a little bit, okay?
Oh, Squatch.
This is
Okay.
not Squatch Central. Basically, that's back where we are.
Yeah,
we
not
had the
Squatch.
guys are out yesterday. They actually got a couple of prints out there.
Oh, cool.
So that
Oh,
was
cool.
you
Right on.
the guys that are helping us out with the museum. I opted to come down here. I was trying to get out of town, do something different, and so it always happens. Whenever I leave Littleton or that area, there's a sighting. It's something. Last year, I was actually up at grandfather, no, Hungry Mother State Park in Virginia.
Okay.
And I'm up there doing this, hiking these mountains, preparing to have a heart attack and stuff. I get back and this woman literally had a sighting the block behind us. That was Ebony Bird, another video you can watch on our YouTube channel. But it just never fails. So, but that's fine. I've got people out there doing it, covering it, photographing, documenting.
You're not so much. I got friends that live right outside of. You ever been to Raven Rock?
Yep.
All right, so right outside of Raven Rock, I've had a couple friends that have. It's pretty big there too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some sightings there.
This
as well.
guy, I'm going to get his name wrong. John Fuquay is the guy who's been hanging out with us and helping us out. And he's in that area.
Oh, he is?
And,
Okay.
He's
It's one of my favorite hikes, man.
Yeah, he's really into it. He's gotten some really good stuff. He swears he's had a sighting. Matter of fact, I got to sit down and do an interview with him too.
Cool, right on.
And some of the guys went down there, but the problem is that park's kind of, it's got a lot of traffic in it.
It does.
It's a much busier
It does.
park.
It's super busy.
They were down on
And
a
it's because
Monday.
Fayetteville's so close.
Right.
You got military going up there. You got regular locals going up there. Plus, you got the college right there.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So all these guys are so spoiled by
Is it
Medoc Mountain in our area. Where
Yeah.
It's like on a busy day, there's 20 people in the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
Middle of the week, there's like maybe one. You get if even the campsites like this time of the year, you might get like 2 people glamping there in these rolling condos.
Yeah.
If you got someone in a tent, it's a Bigfoot. I guarantee you. That's, someone's, they're gonna do call blasting. They got parabolic ditches out, the whole bit. I mean, these guys have got a fortune invested in it.
Hey, look at that! You got a super chat.
Super
There we go.
chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's got to be Frank. Yeah, it's Frank.
What's up, Frank?
Frank's good. Frank's always donating, always supporting us.
Yeah.
And but basically, I want to come back here. I'm kind of picking your brains here. I'll get you guys involved too. I'll sucker you guys into it. And we'll actually go out and do, like today, it's kind of like last minute. You didn't know I was coming. I didn't even realize you were local here. That's how out of touch I was. It wasn't even
Well,
fit.
it's been what, like a year? It's been a year since I went up to the
for some
museum.
reason. I was thinking you were north of me. I don't know
He
why.
talks
No.
about Virginia all the
Well,
time.
because I'm from DC originally, so
Okay,
that's
maybe
probably
okay.
why.
All right.
Well, I'm always going up there. Like when I crossed through, I was actually going up to do Christmas up in DC
That's probably
last year. And,
associated with that.
yeah, and back then we actually had videos, and I had a video of him. He took me to the dollhouse and everything, and got to check out the museum. Did a little filmage there, and I guess when he started getting busy with his, and I started getting busy with other stuff. I just got to the point where I was like, man, I'm going to eradicate everything. So,
We still have tickets to
yeah,
the
we still
convention.
We still have
We still got convention tickets.
convention tickets.
Well, hopefully
They're still on my wall. They're pinned
I
to my
still
wall.
got people like reaching out to me. You still gonna do that? These are the guys I paid to come. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like,
of
yeah,
course.
man, I'm hoping it's
We'll get there.
not exactly up to me. It's kind
And
of
honestly, like that's one thing I forgot to mention too is I have a YouTube now that's completely different. It's taking musicians out into nature and
thank you,
doing
sir.
hikes and it's just a basic vlog pretty much. But I wanted to still do a little bit of here and there in the paranormal stuff. So it'd be kind of cool to go back up to the museum and do another setup there, and maybe go to that dollhouse again.
yeah.
I think it was great. I'd like to go hiking actually at Medoc though.
Yeah, you gotta come to the park and do it
Yeah, I
overnight.
wanna go to
with
the
us.
park, yeah.
So if we got a good group. Frank's one of them. We got a whole
I've got a
bunch of guys
6-person
there.
tent, man.
Yep.
Let's do
And
it.
it fits 2 people.
Right? We were having this conversation, man. It fits 2 people.
I'll be honest with you. Being a fan of historic America, obviously I've never been to Littleton before, but of course, as soon as he talked, I met this Long Islander up there. He's freaking amazing. So I started. I love looking at maps. I'm a map guy. I started looking at maps of the town, looking at the landmarks, and then once I put the satellite view on, I was like, oh man, this reminds me of like colonial village New England. I was like, damn, I gotta get up there and check this out. Like, I don't even care if I see a Bigfoot or not, man. I'm into the aesthetic of it all.
Well, the sightings go back over 100 years.
There's a lot of Victorian housing there too. It's just a lot of
I got
history
that
there.
monster of a house now. It's a money
Yeah.
pit. I didn't put a roof on it. 52,000.
awesome.
It's over 4,000 square foot. I got a carriage house out back. I got
Yeah, he's got
all
it
the
all.
property
I mean-
behind. I mean, we're getting there. It's a lot of work. I mean, the prices are going up now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I'm
got
sure.
a boutique hotel going in.
Yeah.
The Fitz Foundation's put in a new restaurant. The coffee shop Daphne's is open, phenomenal place.
Really?
Bakery, the cooking, baking stuff. The chef's amazing. They have the wine shop should be open. We have a sports bar coming in. We have Littleton Food and Spirit sells a Bigfoot burger. And a
do
lot of
an
stuff I'm
overnight
not
somehow.
supposed to talk about. So.
Oh yeah, we need to get up there.
Yeah,
Town's
we'll
booming.
do an
The town
overnight
is
one
650 people.
That's it.
school coming in. They're going to
Wow.
build it. This guy's going to, because he knows to bring the crowds in, to bring people in. That if you don't have a school, people, younger folks aren't going to come because these areas, like around here, you're not too bad. But you get into these small communities, the schools are pretty horrendous.
Yeah, you put in a Montessori, and the next thing you know,
Yep. So now we can,
especially with everyone in the tech industry now is like working remotely anyway. They can live wherever
exactly.
they want.
So now you can live, live a
exactly.
good quality of life, just as long as you can have, you get yourself a cup of coffee, a nice bottle of wine.
And
You know
internet.
what? Now we got a bakery, maybe we'll get some real bread, you know?
Hey.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, because now Littleton was established what 17th century, right? No, 16th. So in the 1700s.
1739 is when the George. I'm going to get this all wrong now. George King III licensed persons ordinary in 1739. I'm trying to get my whole spiel right here. This is how tired I still am from watching that boiler. I mean,
No, I
people
get
coming
you.
into the museum, I can automatically just wrap this stuff
Yeah.
out. Now I'm going like, my name is, I don't remember anymore, And I'm still-
thought everything.
I've had guys in town go like, man, you need to get that.
It's Kingfoot. Kingfoot. I found him. What are you talking about? This
But
is
the
Kingfish.
town's got great history, and our museum is actually on the old Stagecoach Road, which used to go from Halifax to Hillsborough.
Oh,
the,
really?
house,
Okay.
the house is actually spun. Now, we don't have the exact date for the house that we're in the museum. We know 1850s it was there. I have maps
Oh, really?
showing
Okay,
it,
all right.
and it was spun in 1895.
It definitely looked pre-Civil War, though.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I'm drilling through and putting these mini split systems. I know you guys don't want to hear about my boiler anymore, but the walls in the house, I literally had to drill through plaster and lath. I went through more Lennox blades. I'd actually buy a diamond blade just to drill through.
Jeez.
And
Jesus.
so I would drill through there, and then I would go through 3/4 inch yellow pine. Then it would be the beam space, a rough sawn beam, no insulation, of course. And then I go through more 3/4 inch yellow pine on the outside, and then 1/2 inch cedar shake.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
is that crazy?
Yeah.
The tubes that come with these things
Built to
are,
last.
yeah, I mean,
That's what
it's
it is.
built like a ship. It's crazy. I mean, this house is so damn heavy, So, just nuts. Just a little,
Right on.
crazy side note. This is like people go, how are these mini splits to install? Once you get the hole drilled, it's not too bad.
One thing that I loved about, because I missed my actual exit going to the museum the first time. So I went the second exit, and the second exit took me the back way, and there was like a bunch of abandoned spots.
Oh, yeah.
It was right across from the nature preserve, or I don't know, I wouldn't call it preserve, but it's the hunting grounds.
Yeah.
Everybody was hunting that day. But there's like warehouses and all kinds of stuff that were abandoned on the way there.
There's a lot of just abandoned homes.
There's a
too.
lot of abandoned homes,
Yeah.
and then and
So a
all
lot
kinds
of
of
people are
stuff
starting to buy them up because they see the value.
Yeah,
But
sure.
The problem is there's nothing there. So grandma and grandpa get older, they get put in a home. The kids have already moved on. It's called a brain drain. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're educated,
Yeah.
they go somewhere else. They move to Raleigh, Durham, whatever.
Well, I mean
Wilmington.
that area is also partial rural. It's partial mountain, and it's partial,
Unless
town.
you want to, unless you can support yourself, you're a tradesman or
Yeah.
something like that, or work from home. If you're lucky
Yeah.
enough to have internet,
Yeah,
we do in that
exactly.
little town. And but basically, I mean, what are you gonna do? Work at the Dollar General, the Piggly Wiggly? I mean,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
options are really slim. So it's
Slim.
mostly retired
Gas station or
people.
something.
Yeah. So now we have real businesses coming in. We have more opportunities for people to create their own things.
Mm-hmm.
You come in now. We're bringing people in. I'm bringing tourism in.
Yeah.
Right now, of course, then
Yeah.
COVID came and pulled the rug out from under us.
Yeah, of course.
But they're still coming. I mean, I'm still doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, the,
and
the
it's
name's
picking up.
out there, and not only that, like your town has kind of beaten the odds because usually
Yep.
when you have these rural towns, even no matter how big or small they are, the further we get into 21st century America,
Yeah.
the more it's just like these towns are literally just vanishing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for
people
sure.
and actually what's really cool is this new trend of trust fund babies going out and buying up ghost towns and turning them into like artist communes and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. There's a lot of that.
So-
A lot of that.
Well, now we got all these people coming in speculating because once money comes in, tourism comes in. Now we got guys buying up everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Literally, I had a woman who was a friend of ours, Fancy, who she lives down in Durham now. She owned a house in town. She was renting out to this guy who actually had a Bigfoot sighting in the backyard. A whole other story I'll go into. But anyway, she gives me a call and she had the house up on for sale, and 50-some thousand, I believe, 52. And so she gives me a call, and I haven't heard from her in ages. And they happen to be in Stacy Woodhouse's office, one of the guys from the Fitz Foundation. And I go, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 shooting the shit. And I said, congratulations, I heard you're selling your house. She goes, nah, no, it fell through. So I turn around to these guys. I said, you interested in a house on Moore Street? Probably. So I tell her, come on down. Within 25 minutes, the house was sold.
Nice.
Wow.
I mean, that's just, no arguing over price. Just, okay, here we go. Let's get this deal done.
The downside to all this growth, which is beautiful, good for the community, good for people, is Bigfoot. the bigger and
Seems to
louder
be
the
the entry,
area,
right?
it's going to drive it out.
Yep.
And that's kind of terrible. I mean, just from a conservationist standpoint.
Who was the lady you introduced me to that's at the down end of your street? It goes into like a dirt driveway towards the end, and she lived right to the right of there.
Well, that's
she had
Tiffany
seen-
Merrill had a sighting.
Okay.
Yeah, Tiffany Merrill's the one that moved away 2 weeks after she had a sighting. That was January the 8th, 2016.
Oh, really? She moved
She
away.
was on the phone. She's back there right now, staying with her mom. Just
Okay,
for,
gotcha.
you know, she's horrified. And she hears a dog in the backyard. She calls me. I mean, not
Yeah.
exaggerating. I'm a town commissioner now, so I get everything. And but she's temporarily back there. But she was living there at the time with her boyfriend and her daughter Bella. Bella was 5 years old at the time because she was just started going to kindergarten. She's on the phone with her mom at 5 o'clock in the morning discussing who's going to take Bella to kindergarten. In the process of having this conversation, now it's 5, the sun's barely up. She has this woods behind her house, which you saw.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
actually part of a hunting preserve, just the beginning of it, Panther Club. And she hears this noise, looks out there and sees this large creature, 8.5, 9 feet tall, jet black fur, covered hair 6 to 8 inches long, quickly moving through the woods behind her house. Freaks out. Not a Bigfoot person. Nothing she wants to say. Basically, her mom's on the other end of the phone, says, "What's the matter?" Thinking it's an intruder. She explains what she's seen. She goes, "Call Steve around the corner. He knows about these things." Well, she doesn't tell me from Adam. Her mom calls me.
Yeah.
And that's basically how it starts. I go over, I get the interview. But like I said, by week 2, she was gone. Local newspaper picks up on it, the Daily Herald. Then the News and Observer out of Raleigh came out, did a cover story. Very tongue-in-cheek, had fun with it, called us a big hairy hit and stuff like that. And that brought in Travel Channel. I'm sorry, that brought in CBS. CBS did a really nice piece of it, national. That brought in Travel Channel, MTV, and it hasn't stopped. It's been nonstop, but now more and more people are willing to come forward. From recent sightings to the older ones. From the
I think a lot of people are just they're clammed up about it until they see that there's other proof because they don't want to look seem like they're crazy.
Nobody wants to be the nut that's
Everyone
so
thinks that they're they're gonna think, oh, he's crazy. Blah, blah,
My
blah.
question would be, like, with notoriety comes attention seekers. So, like, how do you discern, genuine sightings from people that just they want to get their 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at interviewing people and being a journalist. I was recently on the show Twisted Sisters about the serial killing story. And when I worked that story, which is still ongoing, people will come out of the woodwork. Now you've got dead hookers, sex workers, murder, serial killer. I mean, just all the mixes to bring people in. The media's out there, even media from other countries. And every wacko and their mother came out there and go like, "I know who the murderer is. It's that mechanic that put that transmission and screwed me up." I said, "So why is he a murderer?" Because you're thinking, I mean, it was just my ex-husband. I mean, it was everybody. And then there were the folks who just wanted to be on camera. And you could talk to them. You could tell right away they barely knew the facts. And what little bit they were spitting out, they obviously got off the TV.
Sure, yeah.
And you just look at the other media, shake your head like, "Don't waste your time with this guy." And we were out there trying to get a story for us. Plus, anything we got good, of course, we turned around the homicide and said, like, you need to talk to this guy right now. And we drag him right off. It's like, we need to get our story too, but it was important for the families to get closure and find out what's going on. And to this day, nobody's been arrested. So, anyway, I learned the hard way. You can tell when someone believes.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you saw Bigfoot or you saw the murderer, but you honestly believe what you're telling me. So at that point, okay, I got to put a little bit of credibility into it, and then I'm willing to talk to you. When you can't even look me in the eye, you can't even keep your story straight. It's like, I'm not wasting my time with you.
Yeah.
So you can usually tell when someone.
Unless they're like a 100% con man, and they can do that.
In which case, okay, you
There are
might get a
people
couple
like
of
that.
people that are just good liars, but for the most part, you have ways to get around these people. You can ask them a couple of questions, or ask them the same question in a different way, and there's, what did I just tell you?
It happens with
someone who's been
paranormal
lying all their life is telling you the same story. Yeah, he's going to keep to this.
It happens with
same story.
paranormal conversation. Like I drive for Uber, and sometimes I'll have conversations with people talking about ghosts and stuff, and you can kind of tell the slip ups when they're just making it up because they want to make some kind of conversation with you versus having a legit experience, that kind of thing. And I can assume that that's the similar thing with the big.
Because sometimes people just want to associate. They want to be.
They want
to feel accepted. And
They
so
want to
they'll-
feel connected in general to something.
Well, you get the trolls too. I get people that call
yeah,
up and go,
yeah,
"Hey, it's
true.
just a Bigfoot guy. I gotta tell you, I just saw Bigfoot and he stole my wife." And it's just being a moron.
That wasn't Bigfoot. It
Those
was
are the
Jason
funniest,
Momoa.
Those are the funniest when they got exactly when they
If
go
they got a
like
sense of humor
extravagant.
about it, if they're just going to be an
Yeah.
idiot, I get trolls that call. just like you get the trolls online. I mean, it's like, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah,
I don't really have time for this thanks anyway. But.
You know what? I'm not busy, so go ahead and troll them. I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
So what's probably the most ridiculous sighting that someone has said that they saw? Like how did they
They're
explain
not
it?
even ridiculous. They don't even get to the point where they can tell me what they saw. They're just being idiots. They're
Yeah.
Just being idiots. So
Yeah, they can't
don't
even give me
make it.
facts. It's not like they even have the wherewithal to come up with a real story. It's like I saw something behind the Piggly Wiggly, and or that, or it gets
I was hoping to hear
or it gets
something.
racial. Right away they have to get they show that side.
Yeah.
And it's that's where they go generally. And it's like, listen, I'm not going to tolerate this stuff. And I am a town commissioner. Like the police chief's on my phone. He works for me. It's like, I do have your phone number, moron.
I've had some funny, like, just some of the people that just try to associate with my conversations or something. They say, yeah, I had this one experience where I was in an alleyway, I saw this guy, and then he disappeared. I'm like, that's it? That's all you got out of this?
I've been that guy. Come on.
I'm like,
It's
that's
like my wallet.
yeah, exactly.
I keep
It's
on
like,
disappearing.
it's like, yeah, it's like
When I was a younger man, I remember waking up going like, at least I'm home.
Right.
It's like, where's my car?
that's like
Where's my wallet?
That's like taxes getting taken out of my.
And that's why you have to be very careful about things you see in alleyways, because more often than not, it's people like me that drunkenly wander down an alleyway, take the leak, and then wind up in the kitchen of some restaurant that was foolish enough to leave the door open.
All right, let's see who's on here.
Hey.
Guys, we're really off track. I realize that. We're just
Yeah.
shooting the shit and babbling.
Forgive us, please.
Julie's been great. Julie's been, she's a regular. She's, keeps the crowd going. Is there any questions you guys want me to ask these guys? It's going to be a little bit of a delay.
No worries.
I know Frank's got a question. Frank's full of questions. The way they're popping in here. Flying pigs.
Flying pigs.
Well, there is a police helicopter.
I need to make a trip to Littleton. Yeah, you got to come to Littleton. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
come along.
Things are coming along. Hopefully, now things
I gotta
will slow
drag
down
this
with
guy
the
first.
virus, and we'll get things going.
Go to Littleton, and when you get there, spend lots of money.
That's right. We're gonna have a boutique hotel opening. We've got you got to go to the new coffee shop, wine shop. Littleton Food and Spirits sells a Bigfoot burger. It's excellent.
I do love
That's
burgers. And Bigfoot.
Is it shaped like a Bigfoot mold?
No, it's
Does
just
it
a
kinda
big
mold?
burger. We're trying to get
awesome.
I've got the Bigfoot cookie cutters. So the company that makes them for us, they'll make
Really?
custom ones. But right now it's just because things have been slow.
Right,
I'm gonna
yeah.
make some really massive ones. They'll actually put a band across.
Oh,
you just
cool.
have the minimum of an order of 100, so it's not like a big deal.
Oh, really?
But I'm gonna make some big ones to be good for like pancakes, and plus we can make them big.
Oh,
I'll do the
cool.
Bigfoot looking straight on,
Nice.
so just be easier to cook.
That's awesome.
And, so make a Bigfoot
That's
burger, so it would actually be in the shape of it.
Hell
and
yeah.
make, if you do like a 1 pound burger, maybe you can put 2 of those on, a bunch of fries, lettuce, tomato, whatever, and make it a little bit of a challenge. And then if you eat it within 20 minutes, and leave nothing behind.
Well, the beautiful thing about a cutter like that is you can actually bake rolls to go with the patty, and that's.
But then we can have a Bigfoot challenge.
Yeah.
If
I gotta
eat
do
it,
a
they
quick
get
excuse
in the bathroom.
sneaking off.
Yeah, I don't drink beer much, so.
Andre smells funny.
So, yeah, no, honestly, being a man who's always been fascinated with the unknown, and which is kind of just beyond the veil, the Rod Serling area, so to speak, not being able to explore what's really out there. Steve has an amazing opportunity where it's like he can grab his camera, hit the trails at all times, but a lot of us really don't have that opportunity. Right. And so that's why it's important to really support channels like this, because a lot of us aren't going to have the opportunity to just be like, oh, I can afford to just F off for a weekend or whatever and go hunting. So, and on the other hand, it's like there's those of us too that, we were Boy Scouts and, nothing was real then. So,
You don't miss me.
no, not really.
We just framed you out a little bit.
Close enough.
Yeah. People
Everything
decided
puts
they
them in,
wanted
you
to see
where
something
everything
pretty.
is.
But the 2 points I'm trying to make is I'm excited to go to Littleton and actually do some spotting. But the other thing is too is like a lot of people can't.
Sure.
So that's why it's important to support the work of people that do, and then bring it to you digitally.
And this is why the YouTube channel's been invaluable. And that's why, I was lucky enough to get monetized. I don't know if you managed, you know how I was able to get the numbers up?
How's that?
It was, I turn away nobody. Anyone wants to come and interview me, it's like, publicity's publicity. I don't, I
Sure,
know
sure.
that. This guy gives me a call. He says, I'm a YouTuber and blah, blah, blah. I say, yeah, sure, come on down. Listen, but we have a good, I said, I didn't really care his numbers with him. So he shows up, his name is Omar Gosh.
Hey, oh my gosh!
Hey, that's the person I think that went to the hotel that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Okay.
in New York.
So Omar shows up and he's got his friend Fave or whatever. So turns out Omar's got 3.6 million subscribers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's got quite a
And
bit.
Fave, I don't know I don't want to insult his numbers. He's a character.
That's actually how I found you.
Yeah. And so
Surprisingly
is
enough.
that funny? And so
Yeah.
they come up and they go in live and stuff. They're they're babbling. And he did a little bit of research. He knew my YouTube channel had like crap on it. 35 subscribers. It was a place to
Right.
keep interviews I did for the Daily News.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And so anyway, they come and go. I don't really think much of it. And they basically explain to me they're not really paranormal guys, but it's what their
Right.
crowd is into. They
Yeah.
do prank and a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
that's what they
they do a
start
good
out
job. And they go live and stuff. I've learned a lot of my craft out from watching what they do. Basically, next day I get a thing from YouTube going, congratulations, you broke 100 subscribers. I'm going, holy shit, Next day, after that, you broke 500. It's like, what the freak?
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
right after that, I started to dive off again, but I said, I've got to take advantage of this.
Having
That's
other
the story.
influencers is very important. It's a huge deal.
I got to say, that's what the YouTubers amazing because they do that. They're smart enough to, I work with you. We go spend a couple of days together
Sure,
a week. Then I work with you. Then you work with. The YouTubers are smart enough to share, get along,
Absolutely.
share numbers,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
that's
important.
great for community.
It
Which
really
other
is.
businesses don't seem to connect that. They don't
Exactly.
realize if we don't work together, we can't help
And
each
that's
other.
that's actually one of the episodes I was thinking of doing is a YouTube influencer kind of
Yeah.
setup for the podcast. I thought about doing that and talking about not just monetization but the growth of the channel and that kind of
Yep.
stuff.
One of the things I've been doing, so I'm into this Ryobi stuff. I've always got some Ryobi
Hey.
stuff with me.
Cheers,
Cheers.
man. I love some Ryobi stuff.
I'm always going down. Matter of fact, on the way coming down here, I stopped and bought some more crap.
Hey,
And,
Ryobi, start paying this man.
So I buy a lot of my stuff
Fancy.
through Discount Tools, and the one that we have is in Smithfield here.
Okay.
And I like this stuff because it has
We
places
got
to
Harbor
charge
Freight.
stuff, right? And so basically, this stuff here, I use it for camping, the investigations. But I'll show like lights and say this is a great light for using for this and this
Sure.
and that. And even one of the radios they have, we've been using for call blasting. You can download stuff right on your phone, Bluetooth it to your. It's for a job site radio. And
Yeah,
it's loud
yeah.
enough where you can do call blasting. I'll
Absolutely.
put together a little video. He'll call me up and say, "We sold 6 of them after you put that video up." People come down and buy the stuff.
Yeah.
It's small time, but
Yeah.
we're getting there. But people are watching. You can demonstrate stuff. So it's kind of amazing. I've had YouTube for forever. I had an account. Never did anything with it. It was a way to,
Fart around.
yeah, figure out how to fix
Sure,
a car.
yeah. Absolutely.
Damn dryer's not working. How do I get this belt fixed? You never thought to do anything on your own. But we were able to get monetized. The hard part for me was view hours. That's a rough thing to get up there.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I mean, even with the Punk Rock Explorers, we had
Yeah.
a decent amount of subscribers to I guess right now we were at like 150 still with
Yeah.
that. But it's like we got to a point where it's like getting the view hours was tough.
Yeah.
Well,
And
because
unless we knew the person.
the trick is with view time is if you're over 4 minutes per video on average, like if your average view time is over 4 minutes, you're in a good space because
Right, yeah.
once you do get monetized and you can start running ads, as long as you have that pre-roll ad, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Because
I've
they're
been trying to
watching
do
that.
at least over 8 minutes. Most of them are long-winded. I babble too much.
Yeah.
But if you do 8 to 10, at least then you can get 2 to 3 commercials in there.
Yes.
Which sounds silly, but that's kind of what you're doing. That's what's going to bring it up. And like these kind of babbling long things here and live views.
Yeah.
We haven't got a lot of people on because I really didn't announce this properly.
But you're also going to get a lot of viewers after the fact.
Oh,
As
yeah.
long as it's
Sure,
monetized
sure.
after the fact, you're good to go.
Exactly. And another thing too to remember is monetize it when you're done.
Yes.
I screwed up. I've uploaded videos and then 3 days later going, did I ever monetize that?
Right,
I have to go
yeah.
back and get a few bucks. And don't think you're going to get rich quick. I mean, at this
No,
point
no,
here,
no.
I still haven't broke $100. I think I'm.
No, yeah,
I don't even think I'm. Probably after this weekend, I'm probably at $70.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
even
so-
on my channel, like I've got about 2,000 subs right now, which is not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but it's enough that I
Right.
get the ad time in where I'm I'm averaging $75 every 28 days.
Okay, that's
And
good.
the payout threshold's 100,
It's
so
something, you know.
I'm getting paid every other month.
It's
But
something.
Patreon support is a great way to generate revenue for the channel, because not only is it a good way to interact with your audience, like after the fact, sure, you got to throw them some, you got to create a little extra content for them or whatever, but you know, my patrons
Or like
are,
for you,
I'm making
something,
an extra 200 plus a month on Patreon, and these are just people that believe in what I'm doing. Like,
Right.
I'm really not offering a whole lot for them.
Yeah.
So Patreon's a great way to supplement income, because my show, I rely on two things for my show. One is, you know, promotional materials from publishers I'm dealing with, and then Patreon. Every penny I make from Patreon goes back into the show, whether it's more books or equipment or whatever. So it's, you know, it's balancing out right now, but and then to go back to what you were saying originally about, you know, cross promotion with other content creators, the one thing that people don't realize is that YouTube content creators are the polar opposite of the basic business model out in the real world.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it's like, we're all trying to get everyone else to grow and to be successful, unless you suck, in which case, sorry. Whereas, you know, it's like let's say you open Joe Schmo's XYZ boutique, and then, you know, Donald Diddler down the road also has XYZ boutique. Now you're in competition with one another. Now you offer maybe similar products to one another, but, you know, in the world, you're just trying to drive each other out of business. Whereas on YouTube, it's like, okay, I'm doing book reviews. This other guy's doing book reviews. This other guy's doing product reviews. But we're all different. So it's like, oh, hey, go check out so-and-so.
Yeah,
and it's,
exactly.
You can
so
actually
we build each other up.
You can actually be
And that
read the
can-
same books, but your personality
Exactly.
And just like this is happening here,
Yeah.
all three of us have different
Yeah.
channels, like completely different styles, you know? But we can come together and be able to put one thing together every once in a while, you know?
And in
a
in
good way to
essence, no
merge.
matter what content you're creating,
Yeah.
you're an entertainer. We're
Yeah.
all in the entertainment business. So
And actually, right now, the COVID's actually been kind of a gift, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
forced us to go out and do more of this. And people, like, they can't get out. There's folks, like, even just for the Bigfooting, don't live anywhere near where there's Bigfoot
Oh, yeah.
sightings.
Yeah.
And so at least they can go out with us and listen to the, you know, the silly stuff. And I try to keep it on the cheap.
Yeah.
You know, don't buy a call blaster. Go to Ryobi and buy this, you know,
Yeah,
cheap thing,
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And once you start buying the batteries,
Yeah.
it's even cheaper, you know. And just try to find the cheap ways to get out there, and how
Sure,
to make your
absolutely.
own compound mix, and how to cast the prints. And it'll give you a little laborious side. but
Now
if
the
you're
next thing we
interested-
gotta find is an abandoned, you know, haunted Orthodox monastery where we can go and play our music at.
There you go.
Then we'd all
luck with that
merge.
one,
We'd merge
America.
perfectly.
Tie
If,
everything together.
if you ever find one, let me know, please.
Believe me, if I ever find one, I'm moving in.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna see if anyone's talking here. We battle it away.
Bar, 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 bar.
Yeah, Julie's even giving me a hard time for being at just discount tools in there all the time. Matter of fact, the manager there is even said, he goes, Steve, we need to create an 800 number for people like you. You know, like half of gamblers, you know. You come in here, I always have to.
Ryobi batteries, what do you want?
Always get something there.
Channeling my inner Annie Potts.
Yeah, I was about to say some Ghostbusters
Yeah.
crap right there. Straight Ghostbusters. Oh man, that's funny.
The craziness goes on.
Yeah.
See, how long have we been on? I don't even know. Does this thing even show?
It should. It should say right up here, we've been on for 58 minutes and 17
Yeah,
seconds.
we'll wrap up. Since it hasn't been crapping out, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's actually been
we'll go a
pretty
little
good,
longer,
looks
and then we'll wrap it up.
right on.
So,
sure,
and then we
yeah.
got to make sure we get your guys' information before you leave. We'll make sure I put everything at the bottom.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure,
Your
absolutely.
pages and stuff. So make sure we share.
I did want to kind of sector into when Rafi and I finally like got into this Punk Rock Explorers thing. Like our first video was local here, and it was the Fort Fisher Hermit. If you guys don't know the story about it, it was a gentleman who pretty much decided to live off the fat of the land. He lived in the bunkers I was talking about earlier. That's over at Fort Fisher. And it just like the ending for him was tragic, but the way he lived, everybody seemed to love him for the most part here. You know, he fostered like stray dogs left and right as his pets, that kind of stuff, and And Rafi, you said you had a different take on it too when we were talking. I remember.
Now, even though he wasn't necessarily a Christian by any stretch of the imagination, or Orthodox for that matter, what he did was actually very traditional in the life of the Hesychast movement, in that he kind of left everything behind in order to commune with whatever it was he was trying to commune with. He lived up in the Blue Ridge. He served in what was it, World War II.
I think it was World War II, yeah.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm done. And he hiked to Wilmington. He didn't, I'm sure there was like some, thumbing involved, but it's not like he got in a car or anything to come down here. He hiked his way down here, and he found the bunker, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. And he didn't like go out advertising or anything. He was just like, I'm trying to live simply. I'm trying to and that kind of peace brings people to you. And so, it's not like he went around town panhandling either. He was literally before the area was developed into what it is now as a park, you could grow things out there. You could have a garden.
Yeah, exactly.
You could spearfish, whatever you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was people noticed this, and so people started to help him out, supporting him with little financial donations. They bring him food most often than not. And of course, he got into the fostering the stray dog thing. Mm-hmm. So that really is it's an echo of an older tradition, especially in the old country, as we call it, where people would leave the world being just society, to spend time alone in, say, prayer or meditation, and just kind of live off of what's given by God, either through donations or through what's on the land. And so it's a great example of a modern take on that tradition, where we can, if we're called to do so, if we have the fortitude to do so, really just walk away from everything.
Sure.
And just be a human being. And he was a fantastic example of that. The fact that he was murdered, just brings a little more
There's been a lot of
levity to it.
There's been a lot of different. There's been a lot of different stories to it.
He was found dead.
He was found dead, but it wasn't like a cut up bloody murder kind of deal. I think he was probably either suffocated to death or something.
I mean, he wasn't a drug user. He wasn't a drinker.
I've heard from three people here from probably Legion or whatever, and they were just messing with him. They were completely messing with him, and decided that was the way. I have a friend of mine who actually has a mural of him on the way in here.
Yeah.
So
you got to also remember he was no spring chicken when he passed either.
Oh, of course.
He was in his 70s.
Yeah, he was in his 70s.
So
he was old.
It wouldn't have taken much to put him out. So it might have even been accidental.
Or heart attack. Or
sure. Yeah. It could have been heart attack. It could have been anything at that point. I mean, just the constantly being that heat and everything has supported him. Yeah. Maybe dehydration can add to that.
I'm going to have to call you on that one, because let me tell you something. My grandfather, cancer took him out.
Yeah.
But before the cancer got him, we swore up and down that we'd have to screw him into the ground, because he was an old school Southerner. You can't. These people didn't know how to stop working.
Yeah.
So they retired. They were still out there digging ditches, planting gardens. I mean, he was already an individual. He had a military background. He hiked all the way down here, and he had to keep active to survive.
Absolutely.
So he was obviously a strong and healthy individual. But as you age, you become weak, and so
exactly.
So if there was a kerfuffle of some sort, it might have been enough to take. Wow, I went off on that thing there, didn't I?
I mean, it's also possible because I'm not saying it's constant. So if you're in the military, it's not. But I've dealt with a lot of people that are military based, and they're very hard headed in the ways that they do things. They have a method to their madness, and they go with it. And that might be something that he went with, and maybe it encased him with dehydration and some kind of other kind of disease.
Or even defending his own stuff. If someone came in there and was going to play, like you're saying, even someone is an idiot, he's getting riled up. This is all I've got. I've got this little bit here, and you're going to me,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
So pour one out for your old buddy, the Fort Fisher.
And hopefully at some point I'll be able to take you over to the gravesite and the hut.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
they're both in separate sides, but it's
Well, I'll definitely make a trip back. Actually,
Sure,
that's something I want to
absolutely.
ask the folks here listening. There's not a huge crowd on. Nah, what we got 7? I can't even say.
I don't know. Only the cool people are watching right now.
yeah.
You guys,
How about if we put together a trip one day when things get a little better here past the COVID crap?
Please
And
do.
we down here and we get a bunch of rooms and we can actually do a UFO outing here.
Absolutely,
Everyone
that'd
get
be
high
great.
rooms here.
Absolutely,
Everyone kind of
absolutely.
pays their own way. And we just,
and worst comes to
Just kinda
worst,
have an
it's
outing,
the scenery alone is worth it because it's
Yeah,
all
Oh,
beautiful.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, it's beautiful here. You
you
know,
know,
it's,
whether you see something or not, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna see beautiful.
Buffer a little bit.
buffer, buffer, buffer,
We'll shut her down.
buffer, buffer,
I'm sure
buffer.
someone's gonna buffer. Yeah, I see
Hey.
it buffering again.
There we go. I think we're back up. Are we back up? Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
we're a little back, but it's all good. Yeah.
That's all
It's
right.
always a little slow.
When reality catches up with reality.
All right, thank you guys for coming. This has been
thank you
great.
so much for
Absolutely.
having
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
I'm going to post all their information on the bottom of this. You can go to their links and see all their stuff. All right, let me just get it in here real quick.
Look at that handsome devil.
Yeah, it's me, the pretty guy. And age makes me all the better. But listen, we appreciate you guys watching us, supporting us. We think us getting together and doing a trip down here, especially before. You don't want to come down during the season. It's going to be crazy down here. It'll be hard to get anything done. It'll be fun. Don't get me wrong. But we'll try to do it a little bit off season, just out. Get a bunch of rooms, this hotel or motel and another one. Do some UFO stuff. Hook up with these guys. And well, this guy, you never know. It depends where he is.
He's definitely social distance.
He's so
He's
busy.
great at that.
Social distance.
Every peas, he washes his hands. Listen, guys, it's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, supporting us, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Let me see if I can shut this off without being a fool.
There you go.